first MSc Computer Science and soil. When we have such kind of opportunity, I want to meet the students like that only. He motivated. Really very thankful for joining this kind of program, because artificial intelligence everyone knows well. In what is the current trend? When it reaches the faculty, then only through them that will reach all the students. In that motivation only, this kind of programs have been arranged by the Department of Computer Science. And we have to use this opportunity, especially even in the pandemic period only we have this kind of chances. But now the government itself motivated, why don't we conduct program in a hybrid way? So not necessary to make the program every time in online. When we don't have chances, such kind of personalities, Krishna Kumar Narayan sir, when he's not able to meet in person, these kind of chances may be available for us. Very right time, just we have arranged for the, I think, sir. And even our participants are eagerly waiting for that. In what way we can develop the students' mind. I thank all the participants and the faculty for arranging the program, and especially the chief guest and other support for encouraging us and involving in that. Especially Rajesh Kumar sir, I think now he is also eagerly observing that. Every time whenever we come here. First, he talk about this kind of when can we arrange such kind of programs. So really very happy. Already you told that we are not mingled with the college. We are in the college like that only every time you are saying. And this thing should continue ever, and generation after generation this should continue. Thank you very much, and I am very happy to meet all people in this happiest occasion. And no doubt this program will be a successful one. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring words. To introduce our chief guest of the day, I invite Ms. A. Muthuchelvi, Assistant Professor, PG Department of Computer Science.
Good morning, one and all present here. It gives me immense pleasure to introduce the chief guest of today's session, Dr. Krishna Kumar Narayanan, Chief Technology Officer, ECRIO, California, USA. He has 25 years of experience in software architecture, development, delivery, and customer support. As a part of the funding team of ECRIO, he is responsible for advanced technologies powered ECRIO products and solution in the area of IP-based communication and messaging. His area of interest includes edge computing, AI/ML, AR, VR, and IoT. He is a board member of ECRIO. He holds a bachelor degree in electrical and electronicals engineering from Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, and PhD in computer science from LS University, USA. He holds 5 patents. We are privileged in your presence, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I feel greatly honored to invite our distinguished chief guest, Dr. Krishna Kumar Narayanan, CEO, ECRIO Inc., USA, to deliver the keynote address.
Thank you very much. So I have a presentation that I will share and then walk you through. That also includes some introduction to the company and what I will be talking about. First of all, thank you for inviting all of the ECRIO members here. As Principal Sir rightly pointed out, we are in the college. We are never outside the college. So we are really thrilled to have part of this FDP program. We have been doing this for a number of years now. And every year we look forward to meeting the wonderful faculty of RRC as well as the students and share some of the exciting information that is happening in this industry. As Sir rightly pointed out, artificial intelligence is touching every part of what we do, personal as well as in the professional life. And so we have a packed program. I think thanks to Rajesh Kumar sir and the entire team of the RRC College, put this program together. We have a wonderful set of presenters that are coming through the entire week. So I'm really honored to be part of this activity. And so without further ado, I will start sharing the presentation and then walk you through. And then we'll leave the questions up to the end. Okay. So let me share. Just a moment. Can someone confirm that you're able to see my presentation?
Yes, sir, we are able to see. Yeah, we can see that.
Very good. Again, thank you all. So the topic today for me is global AI landscape and emerging trends. So what I would like to do is to focus more on digital transformation, which is not a very foreign word these days. Digital India, in India as well as in many countries, many of these industries are transforming from the paper world to digital world. And then industrial automation is also the second. It's like a follow-on to digital transformation when an industry, whether it is a manufacturing industry or a healthcare industry, when they go from paper-based to digital, digitized world, the next step would be to go into some sort of an automation. So this is where AI really comes in and bridges the gap between what they have today and what could be happening in the future. So automation becomes an important one. So I'll cover a little bit on the AI landscape, because like Sir mentioned, there are a lot of material out there in order to understand what AI is. So I'll cover some of the basic part of it. And then we also have several seminars that are coming this week. You'll get into some of those details. I'll focus more on the emerging trends. That's where a company like Acreo is focusing on. And I'll give you some examples of what those are and how we can latch on to in the colleges and in the academic curriculum as well. Okay. All right, just a few outline of the topics. I'll briefly introduce Acreo Inc. USA, as well as Acreo India Private Limited, which is a wholly owned subsidiary of Acreo Inc. I'll cover the overview products and some of the collaboration that we have been doing. In particular, talk about a great relationship between RRC and Acreo. What are the key milestones and where we are going from here, right? With great leaders like Principal Sir and the department head and several principals, professors, as well as our team. We have great ways of moving forward with a lot of exciting projects, and I'll cover that in the roadmap. Then I'll get into the topic itself in the global AI landscape. Basically, I'll classify them as consumer AI and enterprise AI. Consumers are you and I, how we use them, and then how that is getting used in a business like an enterprise. What are the differences? What are the opportunities? I'll cover some of that. Then really dive into the emerging trends. We'll start introducing a term called Edge AI. A lot of you may be familiar with the AI running in the cloud, whether it is Amazon, Microsoft, or Google. But more and more, in order to do an industrial automation effectively, some of these AI algorithms need to be moved from cloud to the edge. So I'll cover some of that. And all of us are familiar with the public network, like the 4G, 5G network, mobile network. We all use it today. But more and more companies are looking at how to create their own private mobile network for many reasons, whether it is for privacy, security, cost, latency, you name it. And industrial automation is certainly one of the driving force for the private 5G market. And then I'll leading up to a new technology, what is called a model context protocol. It is something that is evolving right now in the AI community. We'll touch upon briefly that. Then go into some of the products and how our product is adopted by Intel Dell as part of their Edge AI solutions. Then I will cover some of the AI workload, what type of problems that the Edge AI solution is solving today. Take, for example, in a connected worker in an industry, whether it is manufacturing or chemical industry or oil and gas, even in healthcare. a lot of these workers need to be, secured, and their safety is primary concern for a lot of these companies. How some of the technology that are available today can help with that worker safety and security. And then, of course, I'll also throw in some use cases for the defense. A lot of the countries, defense establishments are looking at AI workloads, and particularly on the edge side. I'll like to conclude my presentation with a demo video. It's a short 5-minute YouTube video. Hopefully that will give you more information or more clarity into what we are talking about. Then I'll open it up for question and answer. So that's kind of the overall outline of the presentation. Briefly, Acrio is based in US. It's a Silicon Valley based high-tech company. We are based in Cupertino, a block away from Apple. And we are incorporated in 1999, over 25 years now. So we're not a startup company, but we are still a medium-sized company. We have subsidiaries in India, in Korea. Our subsidiary in India is headquartered in Chennai. And we have resources in Rajapalayam, Palakkad, Bangalore, and Kolkata. We have an excellent team in Rajapalayam, thanks to the entire college, RRC, that has been the driving force for getting our wonderful resources, along with Rajesh Kumar sir, who has been instrumental in getting that team together. So we are very happy about that. We have global customers and partners, being a global company. What are the areas that we are focusing on, like in the advanced technology and R&D? As I talked about Edge AI. So we have an Edge AI communication platform. It's a software platform, primarily targeting industries in the automotive or manufacturing and others. Primary idea of that communication platform is to enable industrial automation. And one of the things that we observe, you may also see it in many of these forums, AI is not perfect, right? It is still evolving, even with the ChatGPT and Gemini and so on. AI is constantly evolving. This is why there are many releases coming up. So when AI is not perfect, it is okay to have that tolerance, and it is a consumer related AI. But when it comes to industrial automation, there is absolutely no room for error, because it directly translates into loss of revenue and downtime and so on. So we really want to make sure that when AI predicts a certain problem or an issue or an anomaly, there is a human oversight. So that way, nobody can say, hey, I didn't do it, AI did it, so they cannot escape from that. So for many reasons, we believe human oversight and escalation to a human being is really important. What that means is a very frictionless interaction between human and AI, or human to machines, becomes very important. I'll cover that a little bit later. And we're also bridging the edge intelligence with the Gen AI and the agentic AI, which have been kind of evolving as well. But what we believe is any type of AI system cannot independently solve all the problems, right? So there will be problems that will be solved by an edge system with an edge AI, but then a larger problem needs to be solved by a Gen AI or an agentic AI system. But they all need to work together. They cannot work in isolation. So we have some excellent ideas about connecting them together using MCP. I'll cover that. And then application of AI, edge AI techniques and IoT environments. One of the things that we started out in Acrio was the mission critical communication, and we continue to have that. And so these are some of the advanced technology areas that we currently focus on. And interestingly, a lot of these projects are also getting done at Rajapalayam with the help of RRC and students. We are very pleased to have a wonderful internship program as well. Leadership, Mr. Michel Ganaj is our CEO, and I myself, Krishna Narayanan, is a CTO, and we are here, Chief of Products is Dr. Vikram Karmakar. Excellent board members from the industry. We have 40 plus people. LinkedIn website is given here. And the last part, but not the least part, is our interaction or the collaboration with colleges. Rajapalayam Raju's College is definitely top on the list. That is because we had this partnership even before COVID. And so as you can see, we have been building that relationship very nicely. And we have other colleges as well in India. So our idea is to create hands-on projects in these advanced technologies and then get them into internship projects. Okay, so that's a quick brief about who Acrio US is and what Acrio India is also doing in that initiative. Okay, now between Acrio and RRC, what we have done so far, CS department has helped with some contact center proof of concepts and we have created some R&D center in Rajapalayam, as I talked about, and we have hired many interns, and then some of them have become employees of Epic. And all of that credit goes to the wonderful RRC College and the fantastic staff and students who have made this happen. Where are we going from here? We want to enable students with key emerging technologies such as MCP. I'll cover in a minute. AI/ML tools such as PyTorch, YOLO V8. There's plenty of tools available in the AI/ML area. So we would like to enable the students with these technologies with the help of the faculty and professors in our college. So that way we work as a team to make sure that the knowledge about not only the AI, the science part of it, but also how is it applied to engineering, right? What type of problems are we going to be solving using the AI is where there is a lot of gap. And so we want to enable the students with that technology. We want to create a simulation environment to create AI workloads. I think though there's a roadmap, I think with the leadership of Rajesh Kumar, we are already creating AI workload solutions in the college. We are working with some farmers unions in Rajapalayam. So a lot of actions in the space of creating an environment where students can play with that AI workload solution, especially worker safety or detecting some animal sound in the forest area. So a lot of activity in that area that we want to do. And really, we want to grow an R&D center in Rajapalayam. As I mentioned, our headquarters is in Chennai, but we have a large presence in Rajapalayam. So we really want to build on top of that to create an R&D center. And RRC staff and the students can play a major role in making that happen. So this way, not only when they do the projects, they get their internship, but if they would like to join us as an employee, they have all the opportunity to grow with us. So that's again, thanks for all the wonderful work from our college, as well as management and the staff and the students. Okay, with that, let me get into the topic itself, global AI. So this slide talks about the consumer part of AI. So some of it may be already familiar with you because we're all using AI already, right? Many of the services, we're already using them. Some of them directly, like Siri and Alexa. Some of them maybe indirectly. Like, for example, if you're watching a movie on Netflix, you could be getting a recommendation. So all of that is driven by consumer AI. And if you're writing a paper, let's say you're in Word, you're in Google Docs, you'll see lots and lots of applications of AI coming in and making sure that your report is better. It's called predictive text, and a lot of information that allows you to write better reports and so on. So health tracking is another use case of consumer AI. So a lot of consumer AI product. This is not an exhaustive list. This is just an illustrative example of where consumer AI landscape is today. And what are the key characteristics, right? Mass market scalability. So whenever you build a consumer AI solution, you want to make sure that you want to reach as many consumers as possible. So those are in millions or billions. Mass market is very important for that. Focus on UX, right? The user interface, because a lot of the times it is not about the technology. It is about how it is getting used, right? Is it delivering the right value? How is it interacting with the user? How is it delivering the message or delivering the output to the user? That is more important. And personalizing it, because one of the things about AI is always about, hey, so far we know how humans can talk, but how do I interact with the AI system? So how do we make sure that the interaction between a human, just like consumers, you and I, how do we interact with the AI system without any friction? So personalization becomes a very important aspect of it. And it should run on standardized devices, right? But these days, everybody is carrying the smartphone. Everything is now centered around smartphone and tablets. So whatever consumer AI solution that one is building, it needs to run on standard devices, especially phones, tablets. I mean, slowly people can start adding smart watches, wearables, and AR, VR, and so on. But clearly, it needs to run on phones and tablets. Leverage large public data sets, because a lot of the consumers are going to be looking for information available on the net. So clearly, LLMs that are needed to build on top of public data sets for training and delivering the inferences becomes important. Real-time responsiveness is critical because consumers don't have a lot of patience. They would like to see the response right away, but often they are a little bit forgiving in terms of precision, right? If the AI response is not perfect, they're willing to accept that. For example, let's say if you're building a report in Google Docs or Microsoft Word, if they have an AI mode where you can turn it on and then it does certain things. It may not be perfect, but I think we tend to accept that, and we are a little bit more forgiving on that front. So just a quick market data. They surveyed all the consumer-facing executives. 48% of them, nearly half of them, they plan to invest in AI technology in the next 2 years. So these are companies who are delivering solution to consumers. I mean, some of the companies that you see here are already there. Those are big name players like Meta, Microsoft, Google, Apple, and so on. But even smaller companies are beginning to adopt AI for delivering services and solution to their consumers. So clearly, consumer AI is very much here, and it is thriving. I did not even talk about ChatGPT, which is again becoming a de facto application that people go to for any type of information, even solving problems, including coding and so on. So clearly, consumer AI is definitely going to be improving and booming. Okay, that's on the consumer AI. The other side of the coin is the enterprise AI. So businesses, whether it is healthcare, whether you're a clinic, in a doctor office, or you're manufacturing, you have a 20-person cement factory or a textile mill, or you may have a very large oil and gas refinery system like Geo or Reliance or other countries that are large oil and gas industries and companies. So there are companies who are looking at how can I leverage all the AI ML work that has been done in the consumers. How can I bring them into the enterprise world? As you will see very quickly, the application is very different. So it is not, you take something that is working on consumer AI, bring it into enterprise AI, and it is going to work. Unfortunately, that is not the case. But that also results in very innovative approaches to be brought into the enterprises. So bottom line is, the enterprise AI is engineered for mission critical performance, right? It is important. Things have to be done in a very quick manner. Oftentimes when there is a problem in the plant or a factory, you just don't have the time, right? So it needs to be mission critical, cross-functional, right? So basically it is just not about computers, but it needs to work with some chemical part of it, or a mechanical part of it, or a civil part of it. So a lot of cross-functional impact is part of the enterprise AI. And since consumers, some of them are getting the AI for free. As you know, ChatGPT, there is a version that is for free. Of course, with a little bit of fee, you can get more information. The enterprises, they really want to make sure that the enterprise AI delivers strategic value, because without that, they cannot invest, right? They don't want to pay for an enterprise AI solution if it is not going to create a strategic value, whether it is to reduce cost or to increase their revenue or beat their competition, be the leader. No matter what, it needs to deliver a strategic value for the enterprise. Otherwise, it is meaningless to include an enterprise AI solution in their offering. What are the typical AI use cases? AI workloads. So preventive maintenance in manufacturing. So that's a very important one. Let's say there is a PCB assembly plant that is making lots of PCB circuit boards, and how can different cameras detect problem in the PCB design or PCB implementation or the manufacturing part of it? How quickly can you detect problems and then put it in the defect bucket? And at the same time, you don't want to have too many things predicted wrong, so it stops the entire line. So likewise, you'll see in oil and gas, same thing. Like if there is a gas leak or some pipeline in the refinery does not have the right pressure, no matter what, right? All those things can be now not only predicted ahead of time, but also can detect at the right time and save lives sometimes, and even definitely their revenue and other stuff. Mining and chemical industry, same. So predictive maintenance is definitely one of the most often used AI workloads in the enterprise segment. Fraud detection, finance. I think you would have already seen some of the banks and financial organizations like investment firms and insurance companies. They use a lot of AI for fraud detection. They can look at various your previous statements, previous records, what you have been doing, learn from it, and then detect a very suspicious activity of a transaction. So that's a good example of how an enterprise AI can help the finance industry. Intelligent customer segmentation, advertising companies, they use a lot. I mean, these days, when you say something in public, then they can learn from that and kind of target. Targeted advertising is another example of how AI is getting used. Healthcare is definitely big. A lot of after the COVID, since there's social distancing and so on, more and more systems are beginning to be connected. Let's say you're in a clinic, your all the equipment that is measuring your blood pressure or sugar, whatever the vital statistic that is being collected. They're all connected now, and they're all collecting data, and the hospitals would like to analyze that and start using them. So create some sort of a virtual nurse, right? So somebody who can serve the patient without having to be really close to the patient. Because one thing that COVID taught, not always that you will have a nurse close to the patient in taking care of that person, unless you wear a very heavy PPE or something like that. Clearly, hospitals, clinics, childcare, elderly care. More and more of these facilities are connected with internet, and they are all smart devices that are getting into those facilities. How do we bring in AI ML algorithms that leverage those data that is collected in those facilities, and how do you make sure that they are trained and help the systems over there? And of course, supply chain demand forecasting. So some of again, this is just a typical AI use case. There are hundreds of them, if not thousands of them. As you dig into these various industrial verticals, you will see that AI workloads becomes very important. What are the key characteristics? Just like we saw how consumer AI is all about mass market and more on UX and so on. Here, it should be built for scalability, right? What you cannot afford is, hey, I'm going to deploy a solution in a manufacturing plant, but I can do only so much. If you have another plant, sorry, I cannot solve the problem. So build for scalability is important. Security is very, 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 very important. As you know, theft is a big issue in a lot of these enterprises, and intrusion and vandalism. So many issues that are happening to the businesses these days. Security becomes important. And as we all know, not all the just about every industry out there or enterprise out there uses some sort of a legacy system, right? Whether it is using paper or some maybe even running Windows 93 NT or some old systems. They may be using a walkie-talkie style circuit phones. So they'll all have some legacy systems to deal with. So integration of your enterprise AI with their legacy system becomes very important. So those are some of the key characteristics. Of course, it requires domain-specific data. As you can see in these industries, the data that you collect in a hospital is going to be very different than what you're going to be collecting in an oil and gas. So the domain-specific data becomes very important. And how do you train them, right? How do you train your model on those data to make sure that they can infer better based upon the training that has been done? And operates in a mission critical. I already talked about the mission critical nature of it because the enterprises need very quick solution, real-time solution at the same time with very low latency and an affordable cost as well, right? So that is also an important characteristic. Heavy emphasis on compliance because they're running a business, they're liable for many things that can go in there. And there are so many regulations and compliance that the government and other industry bodies enforce on them. So make sure that when you're building an enterprise AI, that you need to understand that there is a compliance part of it and accuracy, right? Accuracy, because you cannot say, hey, AI did this, not me. So accuracy becomes important. And of course, the governance. Typically, these AI systems are deployed on a hybrid fashion. They can be deployed in the cloud or in the secure private environments, including the edge. So this is where the concept of edge computing comes in, which has been non-existent about 4 or 5 years ago, but now edge computing becomes an essential component of industrial automation. So any company that is wanting to automate their activity in order to do the latency, security, privacy, cost, they want to have their data captured, processed, inferred, and analyzed all at the edge, not in the cloud. Of course, they will still maintain the cloud connectivity for any storage of information or any further big data analytics. I think Rajesh Kumar will cover some of that tomorrow. But the edge infrastructure becomes important. So a lot of these companies, they have a hybrid model. They have, let's say, they have the sensors or equipment that is doing what it is supposed to be doing in their plant. They generate data. All of the data needs to be captured locally in the data center or on-prem, and needs to be analyzed, trained, and inferred. And then for historical reasons, you may keep them in the cloud. That is perfectly all right. Or you may use some other high-level LLMs to infer further. You may use the cloud. The combination of edge and the cloud becomes very, very important for enterprises. So again, I have given the link here. A lot of information available on the net in terms of the consumer AI versus enterprise AI. Given the limited time, I just gave a flavor of what they look like in the global AI landscape. Again, some more summary, I would say. What are the takeaway? If you take a look at the category, right, between enterprise AI and the consumer AI, the purpose of enterprise AI is to solve complex problems and drives the operation part of it, right? Whether you're running a manufacturing plant or an oil and gas or a healthcare, you're running operations. So the purpose is to solve the business problems. Whereas on the consumer side, it is mainly to enhance their user experience. Then whatever they're trying to do, whether they are writing a book or writing an essay or trying to look for some information or a game or whatever it is, it enhances their experience. So that's the purpose category. Users, in general, consumers are like you and I, right? General public, individual users. Whereas in the enterprise, they are internal teams. Those are IT teams, and they are called OT teams, operational technology teams. And so there are experts who are dealing with that particular part of that enterprise, whether it is technology or operations or finance or human resources. So these are internal teams. So always keep in mind when you build an AI system, what is the purpose, what are the users that you'll be targeting. Data type, generally in the case of consumers, it is public, right? A lot of the time for what's available in the internet, provide me information out of that. Whereas in the case of enterprise, typically they involve proprietary, right? Let's say if you're an electronics company in India or in US, a lot of the times the data that you collect are going to be very, 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 very confidential. You don't want the data to go to the competition. So they are proprietary, private, they need to be secured. And so the data type is usually proprietary and private. Accuracy and risk, I think we talked about that. Consumers are, they're okay to live with minor inaccuracies, low risk, right? Because if certain things do not work fine in the consumer AI, it is okay. That's not the end of the world for them. Whereas in the case of enterprise, it is high stakes. If an AI does not predict properly, or if the accuracy is not critical, then it becomes a problem. So that's something to keep in mind when you're building the LLMs or the SLMs for the enterprise AI. Make sure that the accuracy is given more priority or more important than the user experience and so on. Infrastructure, typically as consumers, we use an app that is connected to a cloud. So it's very simple, right? We use an app on the smartphone, and that usually connects to a cloud-based system for AI. So very simple. Whereas in the case of enterprise, it's often, like I mentioned, it's a hybrid model. So you have something on-prem, a bunch of data servers, edge servers, collecting data and analyzing them. And you may already have a cloud as well. And some people have multiple cloud. They have this called the so-called private, multiple private clouds. They can have something in Amazon, something in Google, something in Microsoft, depending upon how big the enterprise, the infrastructure can be really, really complex. And some of them can be custom built. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind. Integration, part of it in the category, the consumer side, it mainly integrate with their mobile apps, right? Nothing more than that. So make sure that whatever AI that you're building is part of the app or the web platform, and that's about it. It's very simple. Whereas in the case of enterprise, it is much more complex, mainly because their enterprise systems could be very, very old, right? They could be very, in the sense they are legacy systems. They could be running on, like I mentioned, a push-to-talk phone that runs on the circuit, not even using any mobile technology. They could be using desk phone. They could be using fax. They could be using paper. They could be using punch card. So a lot of these systems are very, 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 very old. How do you integrate them with their existing system is always a challenge. So I think in Acrio, we go through that all the time. When we go, some of our customers are now trying to go away from a legacy communication system to a mobile private 5G network with an AI. Then we always have to worry about, when we send an alert, should we send it to only mobile phones, or should we send it to a push-to-talk device as well? Should we send it to a desk phone? Right? Should we send it as an email? So all of these things have to be considered when you are doing an integration. So hope that gave you a good flavor of the differences between consumer AI and enterprise AI. Again, like I said, this is not the complete list. So some of the takeaways, I've captured them here. Enterprise AI is just not a bigger consumer AI. It is fundamentally different in terms of how you build software. Especially all of this is all based on software. So how you develop an enterprise AI software is entirely different in terms of how you would go build a consumer AI software. The LLMs could be the same. The training methodology could be the same. The neural network could be the same. But how you apply them, how do you infer them, how do you process them, how do you alert them, how do you make it part of your business process is fundamentally different in enterprise AI than in the consumer AI. And the other important summary is Edge AI is definitely the latest trend. It is becoming important in several industrial automation initiatives. We here at Acrio, we encounter anytime when we talk to either a partner or a consumer or a customer or any of these industries, everybody is asking for what can you do at the edge, because that is where a lot of the innovation is happening. That's where the processing is happening. So there is also a thing about on-device AI. Pretty soon you will see, maybe if you follow Qualcomm, they're definitely enhancing the smartphone experience. Like everybody has a smartphone. Already there is a Samsung AI, there is Apple AI. So on-device AI is beginning to happen. And then the edge AI that I just talked about, it could be a data center or a bunch of edge servers within the enterprises could be called edge AI. And the cloud and data center AI system. They all need to work together, right? Especially in the case of enterprise AI, they cannot work in isolation. The device intelligence is going to be limited. Edge AI could be slightly better because you have a little better, bigger computing platform, a bigger intelligent platform. You could have a bunch of GPUs, NPUs to run your LLMs or SLMs. So it has a little bit more intelligence. Still, it's not complete. So you go to cloud or data center, ChatGPT will have a lot more intelligence about what you're trying to do. So it is very important to have the continuity between on-device to edge to cloud AI systems. Good news is people are already building standards, and there is a standard called Model Context Protocol, also known as MCP. You can Google it there, or you can find out on the net. This is becoming a very important technology where all these different systems, AI systems, can talk to each other without having to do a lot of customization work. So just it's almost like how browsers were for the internet, right? Some of you remember when the internet was born, browsers were the first one, right? Even today, you need a browser to browse the internet. So all the HTTP protocol became the kind of the fundamental protocol between the client and the server to access the internet. So MCP is becoming like HTTP to the internet, MCP is to the AI systems. So good news is many companies are adopting that, and Acrio is certainly adopting that. Every time we talk to a partner or a customer or a prospect, this discussion comes up, and they all love MCP. So in that sense, Rajesh Kumar and I have been working on some MCP classes. So we want to enable more MCP courses and things like that. So we want to enable our students. So definitely we would need faculty support to see whether we can offer some preliminary courses and then some projects on MCP. Some of these things are in our roadmap, and we'll start implementing them as we go along. Okay, so that is all on the first part of my topic, global AI landscape. So we covered consumer AI, enterprise AI, and we started introducing edge AI becomes an important part of it, and then the MCP. Next few slides, I'm going to be focusing more on the current trends, emerging trends, so-called, right? And we talked a lot about edge AI and private 5G. I think I briefly touched upon it. More and more companies across the globe are beginning to look at a private mobile network for themselves. So many countries have started allocating different spectrum. In US, there is a spectrum called CBRS, and that spectrum is used for private 5G. So if you are an enterprise, if you want to build your own private network, you could do that today. You could go get the license, let's say for 1 kilometer or 2 kilometer range. You want to create your own private 5G network. You could do that. Let's say if you're a TVS electronics factory, or if you have a textile factory or a large factory in India, you want to go build your own private network, you could do that. Today, of course, in India, a lot of it is controlled by the government. So different countries follow different methodologies. And but bottom line is the need for the companies to have their own private mobile network, private 5G becomes important. So why edge and private 5G are important, right? Global edge AI market is a big market. As you can see in 2023, just 2 years ago, it was $20 billion, and it is going to go to $240 billion in 2032. So as you can see, the ramp up is very steep as far as the edge AI forecast is concerned. And this is very reasonable because there are so many companies, they have decided to do digital transformation, and they're not going to stop at digital transformation. They're going to go into the industrial automation, and all of that is going to be driven by edge. So the subset of that market is what we call as global private 5G market. And that is like a $2 billion in 2023, and it goes to close to $100 billion in 2032. So private 5G has got a little bit of slower growth, mainly because it is focused only on the mobility part of it, whereas the global edge AI market is independent of the private mobile network. It can run on Wi-Fi. It doesn't require a mobile network. So the way to look at it is edge AI is a superset of a private 5G market. And so we are seeing this happening everywhere. So if you want to go Google, you can go find out. All of this is not Acrio saying, it is all from SciQuest, and there are many market analysts who are predicting that this market is either already taken off or is going to take off in a very big way. And we are seeing that in Acrio. And every day we talk to customers, not a single day goes without them telling us that either edge AI or private 5G in their current plan, and people are beginning to install some of them and start leveraging its benefits. Okay, so just a marketing slide on that. Now I'll go a little bit into what Acrio does in this emerging market called edge AI. We have an edge AI server and a client, and so as you can see, the gentleman here is an industrial worker. So that's what we focus on. Some of the features, what do we focus on? We focus on human-to-human and human-to-machine communication. As I talked about, since AI is not perfect, You need to be able to talk to the AI systems, and typically those things could be cameras and sensors. So not only human-to-human communication, just like the way that we are doing today using Gmeet, we should be able to do human-to-machine communication. Of course, a lot of work needs to be done in that space. Today, we are taking baby steps. It's almost like the Graham Bell's equivalent of a telephone is what we are doing today in the human-to-machine. A lot more innovation and research needs to happen. How do you talk to a machine? How do you communicate with the machine? How do you express your input? How do you what kind of input output you're going to be getting? So definitely, this is something that we offer. We offer an edge server and device client software. So not only it runs on the server that you see here, we run on as small as an Intel NUC. It's like a very small mini PC, like maybe $300, $400. You can get them, and then so our software can run on that. Or it can be at the high end, where it can be Dell PowerEdge X6 or 8000, just like a industrial grade rack mountable server that you can deploy it in, let's say, in a manufacturing plant or a hospital or in oil and gas or in a mining scenario. So wherever heavy duty computing as well as analysis is needed, Dell sells these boxes. So we provide servers as well as the servers mean server software and the device client software. So Acreo is a software company. So our software gets embedded into either one of these servers or many more. And then we have Edge AI. We typically use Edge AI to monitor and control industrial IoT devices, right? Since I mentioned our primary focus for this talk is all about industrial automation, we're also going to be looking at industrial Internet of Things. So that could be cameras, high resolution cameras for perimeter security, or sensors. The sensors can be, temperature sensor, pressure sensor, humidity sensor, acoustic sensors. So many of these sensors now are becoming important in the industry. How do you monitor and control them, right? How do you communicate with them? How do you get data from them? How do you train your model with that data? How do you predict if there is an anomaly or not? All of that is done through Edge AI, okay? And that's all part of our Edge server software. Like I mentioned, actionable and distributable inferencing. So what do we mean by that? Of course, when a system infers, the AI system infers something, let's say it detects an anomaly, you need to take some action, right? The action can be taken by the AI system itself, or it can be escalated to a human. We support both. And what do we mean by distributable? You may not want to have only one system, inferring the anomaly. You may want to be able to do it in a distributed manner. So you may want to allocate some cameras to some servers and say, hey, camera A and B and C, you look at perimeter security. Camera D, E, and F, you should look at worker safety security part of it. So that's called the distributed inferencing. So that way the AI inferencing is not centralized in one location, and they can share among themselves. So that's one. We're also introducing a terminology called AI orchestrator with MCP, with Gen AI and agentic AI. So basically, as I mentioned, Edge AI cannot just run by itself. It needs to be communicating with the rest of the world, maybe other Edge AI systems or other AI systems, including Gen AI and agentic AI. And so we have a product called AI Orchestrator that uses MCP. So this is the reason why we really want to make sure that the next generation students are equipped with programming using MCP. Good news is it is nothing but HTTP over REST protocols. So it's very easy, JSON, nothing magic. So somebody can pick that up very quickly. And the idea is if you have a Python programming knowledge and an MCP understanding, then we want to generate a whole bunch of AI application developers who will use our AI orchestrator to build a whole bunch of AI workloads or workloads. So the idea behind here is we don't want the AI application developer to be, deeply involved about what is going on under the cover. So this way we can use the programming expertise or the skills of a number of students or number of engineers down the road. So that becomes an important product feature for us. Of course, our table stake or standard is push to talk. In all of these industries, walkie-talkie style systems are still getting used. So we have an IP version of the push-to-talk, and of course all the WhatsApp style features like voice video calling and the next generation messaging, which is called RCS. You may be already using that in your phone if you're getting a text message or a rich text message on your phone, whether it's an Android or an iPhone. Very likely that you're using the next generation messaging called RCS, which is also supported in our server and the client. So our product supports over the top application running on Android or iPhone, or we can also support the native dialer and messaging. So kind of gives you, it's a very feature-rich product. And good news is some of the students and engineers who have gotten from RRC are helping build this product for us. So we really want to thank RRC College management and the students who are helping us to build this wonderful emerging product in Edge AI. Okay. All right. So this few marketing slides. So our AI product is already featured in Dell Solution Book. So I've given the link here. So Dell has adopted our solution, and it is all so basically Intel, Dell, and Acrio. We have a partnership. This is all public knowledge. You can go look that up in our LinkedIn page. A lot of it is all about how to enable mission critical communication using AI. And some of the technologies that we are using here are an AI framework called OpenVINO. So this is from Intel. So we have a very good partnership with Intel, and so we have ported our software onto OpenVINO, which is a fantastic AI ML framework that allows us to use computer vision based inferencing or sensor based inferencing. So it's an open platform that allows us to do. Of course, each one of these chipset makers, NVIDIA has got CUDA and has got their own. So a lot of these players, they've got their own AI ML framework. But this slide basically shows you that we have Dell and Intel backing us for our product. Now, I'll just briefly describe the one of the workloads that we built in Acrio, and it's called the worker safety AI workload. Because this is a very common AI workload. When you talk about whether it is mining or manufacturing or oil and gas, every place there is industrial worker, right? They could be working in a very hazardous environment. So they need to be wearing a hard hat or a safety vest, or even in some cases, they wear gas detectors. Let's say in an oil and gas scenario, you don't want your workers to be exposed to lethal gas. So there are wearable gas detectors that somebody like Honeywell sells. So worker safety, connected worker. In fact, I've seen some of the conferences across the world. The companies are beginning to bring this as a very important part, because without their workers, there's no business for them, right? So it is important to make sure that they protect the workers, industrial workers, and their safety and security is very, 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 very important. Many companies are spending billions of dollars in making sure that that is their top priority for them. So what we have done in this case is, the way you read this slide is we have cameras. So these are connected cameras that look at a particular loading zone. So in this case, it's a construction loading zone. Let's say they're building a large solar panel in the middle of nowhere, and all their workers, they need to be wearing the hard hat and then the safety vest. But as you can clearly see, there is a gentleman here who does not follow the safety regulations, and so the cameras detect and then send that information to our product, our Edge AI product, which basically has AI models. We use the computer vision quite a lot. This is how the cameras come in, and the cameras send the video feeds. We have computer vision models that detect whether there is a person with a hard hat or a safety vest or anything else that we want to. So it's basically object detection in a video stream is what we use this for. And we not only have computer vision, we'll explain why we use NLP soon. We also have time series data. The time series data are nothing but, let's say gas sensors or a bunch of sensors in the field are sending data, right? They could be environmental data, they could be pipeline pressure data, temperature, humidity, acoustics. So any kind of data that is collected and sent in a series, right? It's constantly sending information from the sensors. So we do support that as well. One good thing about our product is if an enterprise has its own custom model, they can bring it in. And so we have an MQTT broker and we have a communication interface also. So what happens is when the cameras send that information, our Edge AI detects, hey, this gentleman does not wear a hard hat or a vest. That information goes to the communication interface, and a push-to-talk alert is sent to the supervisor, right? So the supervisor on the smartphone can get the alert, and the supervisor can make a one-to-one push-to-talk to the camera. So this is where the human-to-machine communication comes in. So not only the supervisor can talk to this particular gentleman and say, hey, please wear your hard hat or the vest. But before the supervisor does that, supervisor can talk to the camera and ask the camera to move, tilt, pan. So today with IP connectivity and the NLP, this is where our NLP comes in. So when the supervisor says, hey, camera move left or right, we use NLP under the cover to detect what the supervisor is intending to do, and convert them into a suitable command to the cameras, so the cameras can act on those commands. So that's the use of NLP in our product. So once that is done, then the supervisor can call this gentleman and say, please follow the safety regulations. All of the software runs on, like I mentioned, either Dell PowerEdge XR8K or Intel NUC. See, these are some of the platform packages that we use: OpenVINO, YOLO V8, PyTorch, and Wave2Vec2 is the NLP model software that we're using. So for faculty as well as for students, if you are planning to offer computer vision based AI courses, then these are some other things that you could consider. Of course, if you're getting Intel based hardware in our labs, then OpenVINO is a framework of choice, and all the other things are, all of them are actually open source. You don't have to pay anything for anybody. So this entire slew of software packages are free of cost. They're open source, and they're pretty good. They work very nicely. We have integrated them and shown it to people, and some of the customers have licensed our software and they're using it today. So the last one is just description of what I just talked about. Cameras detect a safety violation via OpenVINO. OpenVINO allows us to do that, and that triggers a push talk session between the supervisor and the camera, instructing the camera to pan and zoom on the scene. So basically, the supervisor can have a better understanding of who is not following the regulations. The supervisor then conducts a one-to-one PDT call with the non-compliant frontline worker. So I have a little video that I will play at the end of my presentation, but this is just one of the workloads. But as you can see, this is the fundamental workload for the worker safety that we can take it to any number of markets, right? Whether it is construction, manufacturing, chemical, oil and gas, healthcare, you name it, right? Everywhere people need to be wearing their PPE. So we have a similar one for PPE in the clinics. Like let's say in a surgical room, you want all the doctors and nurses to be wearing their mask and gowns and so on. So as you can see, the model needs to look at those objects rather than a hard hat or a safety vest. So with the same type of technology, we could apply this to a whole slew of worker safety, not necessarily for industry, but also in healthcare and other fields. Okay. So that's on that. I'll cover one more use case and then we'll go into the demo part of it. So the previous one, we saw worker safety for a number of industrial verticals, whereas here this is more of a defense use case, right? So this is every country is investing heavily on defense these days, unfortunately, given the environment we are in. So basically, when along the borders of these countries, absolutely there is no mobile connectivity. Like nobody will have the right mindset to go put a tower in the border area where people are fighting and they're shooting at each other. So clearly having a network in a box, right? So you, at the same time, the countries want to, create the so-called Iron Dome or a digital fence, right? You can't put a physical fence. Can you put a, digital fence? How do you protect your country digitally, right? So this is where some of the countries are talking about, tactical portable network in a box. So imagine that there is one worker, one Jawan or a soldier carries this network in a box that can serve a number of people. For example, it can be, so this box is nothing but a private 4G or a private 5G box. It can be man portable if it is 3 kilos. It can go up to 30 kilograms, in which case it's not man portable, but you can put it in a truck, like an army truck or something like that. So that's portable. Secure voice and video communication, because all these soldiers, they'll be carrying ruggedized smartphones or tablets, and so they need to be able to communicate among themselves. Keep in mind, there is no public network in those border areas. Wireless range is typically 1 kilometer to 5 kilometers, depending upon how much coverage that you want to have, how many people you want to cover, what is the area you want to cover, and it should be easy to set up and provision. It should not take days and days to set up something like this. So what we have seen is 500 users with a box like that, and with the simultaneously 50 people making calls, whether it is a push-to-talk call or a voice call or a video call. By the way, when they want to connect to the rest of the world, they go through the SATCOM, right? Which is also becoming very popular now, with the Starlink getting available in India, and many more satellite providers are going to jump in the bandwagon and start offering satellite communication for your internet and for communication, voice and video communication as well. So that's another connection that the soldier will have. Intercept communication, right? So how can let's say this is the network in a box number 1. There could be 500 of this in the border. How can they talk to each other and talk outside of that as well? And not only we allow the soldiers to talk among themselves, more and more, right? Cameras, drones, and robots are all becoming part of their defense shopping list, right? So to speak. So more and more countries are beginning to use drones, and then pretty soon we'll have robots and cameras need to be connected as well. So though it is targeted for defense, but if you think about it, the fire first responders like firefighters, police, emergency personnel, people who are driving ambulance. So many use cases where something very lightweight that you can carry it, and it provides your own network. It is secured, and you can also control other devices like drones and robots. Then this is another use case that we see for the Edge AI. Okay, so I think that is the last part of my slide. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a very brief 5 minutes video clip. It's on YouTube. I will play that and show you how this worker safety AI workload is realized. This is a live demo, but we have captured the video part of it. Okay, so let me do that. Let me stop sharing now and bring the other one. All right, let me see. I want to make sure that I share tab audio, correct? Can you confirm that you're able to?
Yes, sir. We can see the screen. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to play the video, and it's a 5-minute video. In the middle, I'll stop briefly to describe what you'll see next, but please listen to it now.
Dell, Intel, and Ecrio have joined forces to deliver AI-powered critical communication solutions. With cutting-edge AI or ML technology, this partnership enhances edge AI workloads with mission-critical communications, ensuring seamless human-to-human and human-to-machine interactions. Built for reliability, security, and real-time edge communication, this solution is designed to improve operational efficiency across industry verticals. In modern industrial environments, IoT devices such as cameras, sensors, drones, and robots generate vast amounts of data. The data is used to drive AI-enabled automation. Typical AI workloads include training the model, inferencing on real-time data, and communicating the results to humans and other systems. The last step in this process, critical communications, plays a vital role in alerting personnel in both IT and OT teams so that proper action can be taken should there be an issue in the environment. Ecrio's IOTA-E innovative critical communication platform enables a variety of services such as mission-critical push-to-talk, voice, video calling, as well as interactive messaging. It facilitates seamless human-to-human and human-to-machine interactions, leveraging AI or ML frameworks. Alerts are sent to OT personnel on their rugged devices, while the alerts are sent to the IT personnel on WebEx, Teams, or any other cloud-based collaboration or messaging platform. IOTA-E caters to multiple industry verticals, addressing AI workloads such as worker safety, predictive maintenance, perimeter security, healthcare, and others. Next, we demonstrate how an AI workload ensures worker safety compliance running on a Dell PowerEdge XR8000 with Intel OpenVINO, Ecrio's IOTA-E, and cameras. The camera streams video to the Ecrio DTE pack to detect workers without safety gear. Upon detection, the AI workload triggers a mission-critical push-to-talk call to the supervisor Kathy via Ecrio Compact. Kathy views the video in the Ecom app on a rugged handset, selects the camera from the contact list, and starts a one-to-one push-to-talk call with the camera. She issues voice commands to pan, tilt, or zoom the camera. Kathy then makes a one-to-one push-to-talk call to worker John, instructing him to wear his safety gear.
Okay, so here what you will see, we have the loading zone monitor. So here, this gentleman, the worker, he's going to remove the vest, the yellow vest. So that is going to trigger. So here are the two smartphones that has a Ecrio application on it. Kathy is the supervisor, as you saw in the previous slide. And John is the frontline worker. So John is here. John is going to remove the vest. And a push-to-talk alert. So the camera is monitoring this. A push-to-talk alert will go from the system to Kathy, and Kathy will be able to talk to the camera to say turn left, move, pan, and things like that, move left or right. And once Kathy identified that John is the frontline worker who does not follow the safety standards, then Kathy will call John to inform him to fix the problem. As you can see, the application here is a Android application. So this contact list that you see here, it has humans as well as machines. So not only you have your typical buddies in the contact list, but you also have cameras and sensors and robots and drones. So you can talk to those machines in the same platform, in the same UI, in the same screen. And it's also multimodal. What do we mean by that? With each one of the contact or a machine, you can make a call, voice call, or a video call, or a push-to-talk. That's like the walkie-talkie style, or a messaging. And so you can do all of them in the same. So this is what we are demonstrating, and all of this is running on the Dell XR8K. And by the way, we use another technology called ONVIF for the cameras. So this is also in our plan to educate our students to learn more about the ONVIF protocol. So our students can do some projects on the ONVIF camera protocol. Okay, so that's what you will see now. So continue playing the video.
Safety gear. Please instruct the workers to wear proper safety gears. This is the control room. We have detected a worker without our safety gear.
Hello camera, can you move right now? Hello camera, can you move left now?
Hi John, I noticed you weren't wearing your safety vest in the loading zone. Please wear it from now on to keep everyone safe.
Hi Kathy, I'm sorry for not wearing the safety vest. I'll make sure to wear it properly from now on. Thanks for pointing it out.
Okay, hopefully that gave you a little bit more clarity in terms of what our product does and how the emerging market or emerging trends in the AI, which is Edge AI, is getting used in that particular workload. So that concludes my presentation. Maybe I'll open it up for any questions. Let me see if there is any question in the chat. You can also put it in the chat window, or you can raise your hand and ask the question. Up to you. Okay, sir, madam, I think I'm done with the presentation, so you can take it from here. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for that thought-provoking and enlightening keynote address. Finally, to conclude this session, I invite Mr. M. Suresh, second MSc CS student, PG Department of Computer Science, to deliver vote of thanks.
Good morning, one and all present here. On behalf of the PG Department of Computer Science, Rajapalayam Rajus College, I take this opportunity to thank all who made this inaugural session a success. First, my heartfelt thanks to our chief guest, Dr. Krishna Kumar Narayanan, for his valuable address and for sharing his insights on artificial intelligence. Thank you, sir. I sincerely our principal in charge, Dr. C. Ramakrishnan, for his constant support and encouragement, and our SF coordinator, Dr. R. Ramraj. I also thank our head of the department and all our faculty members for his contributions. Next, I thank our technician for his technical support. Last but not least, I thank our participants for various colleges and all of our college faculty members. Once again, I thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Suresh. With this, we come to end of the today's session. Thank you all for your participation. Let's look for an enriching journey into the world of architecture. Dear participants, the feedback link be active till 1 p.m. today. Meet you all tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care. Bye now.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.